On February 28, 1827, the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad became the first steam-operated railway in the United States to be chartered as a common carrier of freight and passengers. And it's all thanks to Peter Cooper, as well as the B&O Railroad. Peter Cooper was an American industrialist, inventor, philanthropist, and politician. He designed and built the first American steam locomotive, named the Tom Thumb, founded the Cooper Union for the Advancement of Science and Art, and served as the Greenback Party's candidate in 1876 presidential election. The first steam locomotives were built in England, the birthplace of steam power, and the first locomotives in America were imported from England. This is where Peter Cooper came into the spotlight as a key figure in American locomotive history. Cooper's design for Tom Thumb was a four-wheel locomotive with a vertical boiler and vertically mounted cylinders that drove the wheels on one of the axles. The design was characterized by a host of improvisations. The boiler tubes were made from rifle barrels, and a blower was mounted in the stack. Driven by a belt to the powered axle, the engine was fueled by anthracite coal. Tom Thumb was the first American-built steam locomotive to operate on a common carrier railroad. Peter Cooper built and designed the steam locomotive to convince owners of the newly formed Baltimore and Ohio Railroad, B&O, which is now known as CSX, to use steam engines. It was not intended to enter revenue service. It is remembered that as a participant in a mythical impromptu race with a horse-drawn car, which the horse won after Tom Thumb suffered a severe mechanical failure. They state it's mythical because there's nothing to officially document that this race took place. Local folklore and the people that are there bore witness to the claim that day. Tom Thumb was easily able to pull away from the horse until a belt slipped off the blower pulley. Without the blower, the boiler did not draw adequately, and the locomotive lost power, allowing the horse to pass and win the race. Nonetheless, it was recognized that the locomotive offered superior performance. The demonstration was deemed successful. The railroad committed to the use of steam locomotion and held trials in the following year for a working engine. The Baltimore and Ohio Railroad was the first common carrier railroad and the oldest railroad in the United States, with its first section opening for widespread use in 1830. Tom Thumb, steam locomotion, and the B&O Railroad. These are interesting things with JC.